स्वहतः सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ओम गुरुदेव भगवान शिव शंकर भोलेनाथ कैलाशपति महाराज की जय, भगवान व्यास जी महाराज की जय, शंकराचार्य भगवान की जय, स्वामी चिन्मयानंद भगवान की जय, स्वामी दयानंद भगवान की जय, स्वामी प्रबुद्धानंद भगवान की जय, माता पिता की जय, सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय, सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम श्रीमद् भगवद गीता chapter 3, we have seen shlok number 13. God says, Bhagavan Krishna says, those who eat having first offered the food to the Lord are released from impurities, whereas those sinful people who cook only for themselves eat papa, the sin. Since Ishvara, the Lord, is to be recognized in form of various cosmic forces or element, these forces are viewed as individually and are called devatas. Devas meaning deities. Lord says, according to karma performed, there is both a seen and unseen result. If the unseen result is undesirable, it is called papa. This is how it is. Those who cook and eat only for themselves are not as an offering to Devata eats only papa, whereas those who eat only after offering the food to Lord get rid of any sins and papas they might have collected through other actions. So all the karmas we do should be offered to the God. Karma has to be done. It keeps everything going. The great cosmic wheel is constantly turning, and because you are a doer, one who enjoys a free will, you are a cognate. You can do and you need not do. A tree does whatever it has to do because that is how it is made. An animal also does exactly what is expected it because it is also made to do so. In this way, non-human living beings do what they do because they are programmed in certain way. The human being, however, is one whose action is performed by will. Therefore, there is choice in action. One may perform an action and not perform it, or perform it differently. The cosmic wheel goes on because of karma alone. Annad bhavanti bhutani prajanyad anna sambhavah yagyad bhavati prajanyo yagyah karma sumud sumadbhavaha. Bhutani, living beings, anant, from food, anat, from food, bhavanti, are born, prajanayat, from rain, anna sambhava, food is born, prajanya, rain, yajanat, from yagya, bhavati, is born, yagya, punya karma, samudbhava, born of action. Living beings are born of food. Food is born of rain. Rain is born of yagya. And yagya is born of action. Yagya means punya. Lord says, the expression born of food cannot, of course, be taken literally, since nothing is actually born of food. It refers instead to the food eaten by a person. If Shankara's commentary on this verse, the word bhokta is added to the word anna, meaning from the food eaten and assimilated. From the food eaten, all living beings with various bodies are born. The food eaten by parent is converted into the causes of conception of the being, the blood, seed, and so on. Therefore, conception itself is because of food, and food, being the material for it, is the material cause for anatomical aspects of the physical aspects of the body. Bhagwan Krishna then went on to say that food itself is born from the rain. If there was no rain, there would be no food. The entire earth would be desert, and sand would be the only food. The rain, in turn, Krishna said, is born of yagya, your daily prayers, acknowledging the blessings of the devatas. If it is true that if you do not perform yagya, rain still comes, but it may not come at the right time or in the right quantities. Later, Krishna said that rain always does its job, and unless you are offering daily prayers, you are not doing yours. It is not uncommon for a person to think that since everyone else is doing it, he or she need not do it, like a chorus singing. If one person does not sing at the given time, nothing is lost because most of the others are singing. Even if one person commits a mistake, it goes undetected because the others are not making the same mistake. Only if everyone were to commit the same mistake at the same time would become evident. Therefore, chorus chanting always sounds perfect, even though individually there may be problems. Here too some people offered their prayers and the rain is enjoyed by everyone. However, Krishna likened one who does not do it to a thief. It is not that the rain will not do its job. It is recognition of the cosmic forces as Ishvara that is important here. When you perform yagya, as when you do your duties, your prayers and so on, then the devatas bless you. For example, the sun has always been said to produce the rain since it evaporates the ocean water, which then forms into cloud. And when you do your daily devata yagya, all the accrued adrashta, unseen result, go to the appropriate deity, the sun, the air. Then from sun the rain comes. This is another way of saying that you invoke the forces and the forces bless you. The rains come at the right time to the right place in right amount. The unseen result, adrashta, is what is meant by yajna here. A prayer does not produce a tangible result immediately. It produces an unseen result, which in turn produces the tangible result later. Without karma, you can produce neither the seen nor unseen results. We know that seen result is boiled water cannot produce without the action of heating the water. Similarly, the unseen result is one that is produced by the action of prayer. This action is what keeps the natural forces, the cosmic ecology going on. When it is said here that yajna is born out of karma, yajna is not referring to ritual, because a ritual itself is a karma. To clarify this point, Shankara said in his commentary to this verse that yajna is adrashta, the unseen result. The adrashta is born out of karma and is what produces the result. Only this way then can it be said that yajna is born of karma. Karma, ritual, prayers, etc. come from the Veda, and the Veda from all knowledge, Ishvara. Verse number 15. Karma brahmodbhavaham vide brahmakshara samudrbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahmam nityam yajna pratishtitam. Karma, ritual, brahma bhavam, born of the Veda, Brahma, the Veda. Akshara samudbhavam, born of imperishable Ishvara, the Lord. Vidhi, may you understand. Tasmat, therefore. Sarvagatam, all pervasive. Brahma, the Vedas. Nityam, always. Yajne, in yajna pratishtanam, abides. May you understand karma, ritual, prayers, etc. to be born of Veda, and the Veda to be born of imperishable Ishvara. Therefore, all pervasive Brahma, the Veda, abide always by yajna. By karma, Krishna was referring here to the Vedic rituals, Vaidika karma. The rituals, yajna, are to be understood as coming from Vedas itself, called Brahma in the verses. Although Brahma or Brahmaji is also the name given to the Creator in the Trinity. Here it refers to the Vedas as the cause of karmas. Brahma is the Veda that reveals the nature of the karma and therefore becomes its cause. One would know of the rituals otherwise. Thus it is said that karma is born of Vedas. And how do we know that Brahma is Veda and not the absolute Param Brahma, Brahman, the ultimate truth? The verse says Brahma is born of Akshara, the imperishable, that which never dies, which is never born. Therefore, Brahma cannot be the absolute Brahman. The Brahma means Veda, is confirmed by any Sanskrit dictionary. The Veda comes from that imperishable Brahman. It is also said that Veda is born as effortlessly as breathing. The Veda is something that reveals the four human pursuits: Purushartha, security; Artha, pleasure; Kama, righteousness; Dharma, and liberation; Moksha. Because it reveals everything that a person requires. The Veda is considered to be omniscient, Sarva Jana. The Veda is said to be revealed by Ishvara because knowledge cannot be created. Knowledge always is, but it is covered by ignorance. If knowledge were created, the place of certain would create the place of creation would only be one of ignorance or no ignorance. If the knowledge were created, the place of creation could only be one of ignorance or no ignorance. If knowledge is created on ignorance, does the ignorance remain? Can knowledge be created on a foundation of ignorance? Or in the wake of knowledge, does ignorance go? And what is this knowledge that is created? If you discover something, is it something that is already there, or do you create something and then discover it? To create something, you must know it already. You do not create knowledge. Knowledge is already there because it is knowledge of a fact. There is a certain reality, a fact, and the knowledge of it is as true as the reality, as true as the particular fact. Therefore, knowledge is nothing but realization of facts. This means that knowledge is always of what is possible, and so on. Everything is only what is. The future is also what is. The future as possibility is. This what is what we call knowledge. For Ishvara, all knowledge is always there. In fact, all knowledge is what is meant by Ishvara, the Lord Omniscience. If all knowledge is there, is Ishvara conscious or an unconscious being? A being is always conscious. An unconscious being is not a being at all. That Ishvara whose being is consciousness has omniscience. And this omniscience exists ultimately in the consciousness. The jiva, the individual who is related to Ishvara is also conscious being. And what is the nature of that conscious being, the individual? Is conscious an adjective to the being, or being consciousness? Is there being other than consciousness? If so, what is that being? How do you recognize it? The being is consciousness. Consciousness is being. Therefore, all knowledge exists in the conscious being. In the being that is consciousness. In this being the case, why do I have it? Why do I not have it? Because of ignorance alone. Ignorance covers the knowledge. Thus, whenever any knowledge is gathered, it is simply a matter of scrapping of ignorance. We are just so many scrappers, scrapping through all the time. Scrapping of ignorance is what we call getting knowledge. And with reference to knowledge of the empirical world, we do not scrap very well. One can scrap only when reference to Atma. Everything else remain either unscrapped or little scrapped. It is as though you see some spots on something and then scrapping away. You gain a scrap of knowledge. A thesis may be written on one of these spots, for which the person receives a PhD degree. Then afterwards, someone else come along and again cover up that what was scrapped off by proving that the previous person did not really scrap at all. So this person also gets PhD. This scrapping process can continue only because there is no bottom line, no last word in an empirical field. Only in the self is the total scrapping possible, because you are talking about the whole that has no parts. Any part always has further parts, which have further part ad infinitum. This is the nature of empirical reality, whereas Atma is the partless whole. Thus, a total scrapping is possible with the reference to oneself, the Atma. All this is, by the way, given the focus of our present discussion. The consciousness being has all the knowledge, and this knowledge is covered by ignorance, ajnana. Because of this ajnana, people are sansaris, limited being, given of various problems. Nevertheless, knowledge is always there. It was never created. Ignorance also is not created. All that is created is error, opinion, belief, unreasonable statements, and any speculative form of knowledge, and so on. For example, sitting in an easy chair, one can continue to write about God. Error, of course, is not created deliberately, but it is born of a given intellect with all its limitation, whereas knowledge is never born, never created. Thus, the Veda is a body of knowledge that is not attributed to a given author. There is no founder. If it is not historical and therefore we accept it as revealed, there is a Veda as history, argument propounded by some, but according to the tradition, it is not valid, because for something to have its basis in history, it has to be born of certain intellect. And whatever is born of given intellect has all the limitations of that intellect. Knowledge is not born of given intellect. It is something that is uncovered and handed over. All we can say about the Veda is that it is a body of knowledge that is revealed. And as a means for one to gain the knowledge, as pramana, it works, its very words are the pramana, shabda pramana. The pramana can produce two types of knowledge, indirect or immediate. Knowledge, paroksha jnana, and the direct or immediate knowledge, aparoksha jnana, depending upon the subject matter to be known. If the pramana talks about a heaven, the knowledge is purely indirect knowledge. When you have faith, shraddha in pramana, the knowledge is indirect. Otherwise, one simply accepts what is said, which is only a belief, not knowledge. Similarly, when pramana says there are devatas, it is indirect knowledge. For instance, when the Veda talks about ritual that invokes a particular devata that will produce certain result, the knowledge is indirect. When you perform the ritual and it produces the expected result, you understand that it has been verified that it works. Homeopathy, an ancient system of medicine that have not been scientifically validated, and are other examples of indirect knowledge. In other words, the only proof that something works is because it works. All we know about the ritual enjoyed by the Veda is that they work, for which there is a statistical proof, which applies to all scriptures in the world. This prayer may work or that prayer may work. You can dismiss an African tribesman as a heathen, but when he dances for the rains, I am told, often come. Therefore, we say that his ritual work. God understands his mombo jumbo as well as he understands ours. In fact, for God, there is no such thing as mombo jumbo. For him, everything is meaningful. Even if you blabber, he picks up your intention. Your intentions are important. However, when the Veda talks about what is, it does not lend itself to speculation. It talks about you, the self, I, which is already an evident being. If there is confusion about that being, the resolution of that confusion is immediate knowledge, direct knowledge. Because this knowledge is direct knowledge, there is no comparison possible between what Veda says and what any other revealed body of knowledge says, unless, of course, they are both saying the same thing. If both revealed bodies of knowledge have the self as their subject matter and are saying that the self is whole, then they are saying the same thing. This knowledge, the knowledge about the reality of the self, does not belong to any territory and is what is called Vedanta. The strength of Vedas. In the vision of Veda, the self is the whole and there is nothing beyond it. If this fact is recognizable, then it is not unreasonable. Because it is reasonable, everything contrary to it becomes unreasonable. That the self is self-evident and is the whole cannot be denied or negated, whereas everything else can be. Therefore, any scripture that makes this statement of fact, regardless of the language it is written in or the people can claim it as their own Vedanta. This knowledge, this Veda, is born of Ishvara alone. It is not founded, nor does it have a historical basis. Therefore, it does not have in it the problems of a given intellect. It is simply handover from one generation to the next. That it has no beginning or no history, that is not born of any given intellect, should not be considered its weakness. It is in fact its strength. Another important point is that the Veda does not belong to anyone. No individual or culture can claim it. It is simply a body of knowledge belonging to humanity at large. This knowledge is there here in the world for all people. In fact, that it maintained in a particular geographical area does not mean that it does not belong to humanity. To think otherwise leads to the notion that the knowledge has been given to a particular person, and therefore all wisdom comes through that person. Such notions generate all sort of expectations and disappointments, the result for which are evident everywhere. Krishna said that Veda comes from imperishable, the Lord Ishvara. Because it is born of Parameshwara, the Lord, the Veda is said to abide in the yajna. How is this so? The ultimate cause, Brahman, is all pervasive and all imperishable. From this Brahman alone, the ultimate cause of everything comes Brahma, the Veda. And from Veda comes the yajna as well as its result. From the result alone comes the rain, and from the rain comes the food. From food comes all living being. The beings do yajna, and out of yajna comes the rain and all other result, which in turns lead to karma. This then is the cycle, a chakra. Brahman is all pervasive because it is both the efficient and the material cause, and no effect can be always away from its cause. Out of this all pervasive Brahman, the Veda is born, and the cycle described above is set in motion. In this way, everything is born out of Param Brahma. Thus it is said that Brahman is in the yajna being born out of Veda, and the Vedas being born directly from Parameshwara, the Lord. Or as Shankara puts it, being born of Vedas, yajna is non-separate from Veda, and thus very much in it, and the Veda is non-separate from Ishvara. Therefore, when you perform yajna, you are naturally in tune with Parameshwara. You also are not away from the Lord. The yajna is looked upon as being immediately connected with Parameshwara. Yajna is revelation of Ishvara, and by performing this yajna, which is a karma, you are performing the Devata and the Parameshwara. Devata, that are the Parameshwaras. And that happens if you do not. What happens if you do not perform such karma? There is a mutual benefit inherent in the order already set to motion. Verse number 16. Evam pravatirtam chakram nanu vartayati hayah adhayurindriyaramo mogam partha sajivite. Partha, O Partha, Arjuna, Yah, the one who, Iha, here in this life, Evam, in this manner, Paravartitam, already set in motion, Chakram, the cosmic wheel, Na anuvartayati, does not follow, Agarahyu, one who lives in sin, Indriyaramaha, one who is given only to sensory pleasure, Sah, that person, Mogham, wastefully, Jivati, lives, a person who does not follow here in this life, this cosmic wheel that is already set in motion in this manner, and lives the sin given only to the pleasure of the sense, lives wastefully. Partha, Arjuna. A person, if you perform yajna, the Devata are pleased and you work in harmony, According to the order referred to here as the cosmic wheel, chakra, there is mutual benefit here that is inherent in the order that is already set in motion. The whole universe, the whole planetary system operates by mutual attraction. Every planet, the sun, the moon, and the earth moves in their respective orbits because of the force of attraction that keeps the whole system going. Otherwise, it would collapse. When you look into the nucleus, when you find that motion of the particles operate in same way, similarly certain proteins attract certain other proteins. Structurally, they are all attracted to each other. Certain bugs attack only certain things, all because of protein structure. In this way, the entire cosmos is nothing but force of attraction operating in most intelligent manner. Living beings who are not mere physical entities are conscious being mutually related to the devatas. Since this is how the order is set up, you recognize them, acknowledge them. The chakra spoken in here is much more than the cosmic wheel. It not only includes the physical world, it includes everything. This chakra, this order is set up as it is by Ishvara, the efficient and material cause of it all, seeing beyond the sense organs. Agahayu is a person whose life is nothing but agaha, papa, sin. In this verse, such person is called Indriya Rama, meaning one who lives only at the level of sense organs, therefore does not perceive anything beyond the eyes, nose, and ears. The origin of these functionaries is never questioned by such people. The eyes are here and therefore they feast. These are people who are given to sensory pleasures alone. Those who live in this way, who do not follow the chakra, the wheel, that is the order, live wastefully. Krishna says here, everything that is given to these people lays waste. Such people waste their lives and life without any purpose and live without any purpose, drifting along without anchor or root. The depth and understanding that a human being is supposed to have is not there for an Indriya Rama. Whenever there is this kind of criticism in the Gita, it is purpose is only to direct your attention to what is to be done. You are to push this wheel, this chakra, knowing that you are a cog in it, someone who is important in maintaining the order. Do what you have to do. By doing so, it keeps going. To think that by not doing what you have to do, the order will not be disturbed is not proper, as following story demonstrates. There was once a king who thought that his citizens were excellent people, but his chief minister, a very intelligent man, could not agree with him. He knew that while by the large they had a good kingdom, there were probably some thieves among them. They simply did not hunt down every last one of them. There are always some petty thieves around. Even if you pick, there are their own pockets for practice. Knowing this, minister could not concur with the king. Concluded with the king that every citizen was upright. To prove who was right, the king or himself, the minister, erected a huge tank with a ladder on the top. He issued a decree that every citizen was to deposit 1 ounce of milk into this tank dutifully. The people all lined up and added their milk to the tank. When they had all done their duty, the minister said to the king, "Let's go and see whether the milk is in the tank is pure, whether it is somewhat watered down." What they found was not pure milk, nor even thin milk. Only water. Only water was there without so much as a trace of white in it. The king then asked the minister whether he had asked the people to put milk or water into the tank. The minister confirmed that he had said milk. But how can this be? The king asked. The minister then explained to him that each person thinking that his or her water would make no difference in so much of milk opted not to give any milk at all. This only shows if you think that you do not need to do what has to be done because everyone else will do it. And if that is the thinking of everyone, then everything comes to the halt. And if all but one person does do what is to be done, the one who does not do it and who partakes the benefit becomes a cheat. Ecology always starts with you. This is true in any system, be it small community, a factory, a society, the world, or the entire universe. The same psychology, the same law applies and is all the ecology is about. Live and let live and recognize what his contribution is. This is what makes a person sensitive. Such a person is not an ordinary person, and it is here that one's attention is to be drawn. Ecology starts with one person, and that person is you. It never starts with someone else. If you start with yourself, there is no problem. Whenever you count yourself first. Counting yourself first is not selfishness, as we shall see in verse number 17 and 18 tomorrow. There is nothing to be done for one who ever delights in the self. Om Tat Sat. Tomorrow we will see verse number 17 and 18. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnimadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Gurubhyo Namaha.